Hey guys, today we're going to make one of my favorite dessert recipes, and that's peanut brittle. And I actually don't really like sweets all that much, but there's a few things that I really like, and peanut brittle just happens to be one of those. It's a really simple recipe, and you only need a few ingredients. I've actually made this recipe a couple of times in the last few days. The first time I made it, I needed something really quick and simple to bring to a work meeting, and now I'm making it again to bring some with my boyfriend and I to his parents' house tomorrow. So like I said, you only need a few ingredients, a couple of basic things that you have in your kitchen, and I'm going to tell you the ingredients that you're going to need, and then we'll get started. So the first thing you're going to need is white sugar. I'm just using Domino's brand of white sugar today. I usually just buy what's on sale at the grocery store. You're going to need some Caro light corn syrup. You're going to need some salt. Of course, you're going to need some peanuts for peanut brittle, and I like to use lightly salted peanuts. You can use whatever kind of peanuts you like, but I find that if you use the regularly salted ones, they're a little bit too salty, and I think you do need some salt in the recipe because mixing salty with sweet really makes it taste just that much better. So any brand, I'm using Planters today, but lightly salted. I also prefer cocktail peanuts to dry roasted peanuts because I think cocktail peanuts have a little more moisture and oil in them. Dry roasted peanuts are a little bit dry, and I think that they change the consistency of the peanut brittle a little bit. But basically you can use any kind of peanut you like. You're going to need some baking soda. And you're also going to need a little bit of butter. I use salted butter, but you can also use unsalted butter. It doesn't really matter either way with the recipe. You're going to need some kind of pot to cook your peanut brittle in. You want to make sure that it's big enough, probably at least double the volume of what you're going to actually put into the pot, because we are going to boil the recipe, so it's going to expand in volume as we're cooking it. So you want to make sure that your mixture is not going to overflow your pot. I'm also using, I already have some of the ingredients in the pot here, so that's kind of why this is a little sticky. You're going to need some kind of spatula, and the reason I like to use this is we're going to measure out some corn syrup in the recipe into a liquid measuring cup, and in order to get all of the corn syrup out, using a rubber spatula like this really helps you to scoop out all the amount that you're going to need. You're going to need some kind of cookie sheet that I've lightly buttered just so that the peanut brittle doesn't stick to it. Any kind of cookie sheet. The last thing you're going to need is a special thermometer, and this one is either called a frying thermometer or a candy thermometer. And it has little demarcations on the side with the temperatures, and it also gives you some little written things off to the side that are different states that you want to take sugar to. One of them being soft ball, hard ball, soft crack, and hard crack. And these, when you bring the sugar up to a specific temperature and then let it cool, it solidifies in different states based on the amount of heat that you, or the temperature that you brought the sugar to in the beginning. So we're going to take this recipe a little over 300 degrees Fahrenheit today in order to achieve our peanut brittle. So those are the things you're going to need. I'll put the recipe in the sidebar, so if you're interested in making it, I'll give you more specific amounts of the ingredients, and we're going to get started. So I've already pre-measured most of my ingredients here just to make it a little bit easier, and this is the type of thing you want to make sure to have everything measured out beforehand, because once you get your sugar to the proper temperature, you really need to be paying attention to what you're doing, and you're not going to really have time to measure out things. So I already have measured out 2 cups of white sugar into the pot, a half a cup of the Caro light corn syrup, a half a teaspoon of the salt, and and a half a cup of water. So what I'm going to do now is turn my stovetop on, and I'm going to turn it on to medium-high. What we're going to do is first sort of dissolve all of the sugar into our mixture here, and there's not a lot of water in this mixture. It's mostly sugar already, so it's not going to take a lot of time to bring this up to sort of a light boil. That's what we're looking for, a light boil. So you're going to see the mixture change from a gritty texture where the sugar is not dissolved yet to sort of a light boil where it's going to dissolve and become clear. So I'm going to show you right now what it looks like, and you can see it looks like there's just like a white pile of stuff on the bottom. That's all the sugar in the bottom, and floating on the top of that's the Caro corn syrup. So what I'm going to do is stir this up, and like I said, it doesn't take a long time for this to come to a light boil, and that's what we're going to take it to. So off to the side here, I have 2 cups of my peanuts already measured out. I have 4 tablespoons of butter, And I have 2 teaspoons of my baking soda. Those are the last ingredients that we're going to add to the mixture. It only requires a few ingredients, like I said. And you want to make sure you have your candy thermometer ready on hand and your peanuts ready on hand, because once the sugar dissolves in our mixture, we're going to add the peanuts and we're going to continue cooking it until we reach a little over 300 degrees Fahrenheit. I can see that my pot is starting to come to a really light boil. Alright, so we're reaching a little bit more of a boil here. If you find that your ingredients are heating up too quickly, or it's something you can't handle, you're feeling a little nervous about it, just turn down the heat and take the recipe along a little bit more slowly. So this is what the solution looks like now. It's become clear in consistency from the original white opaque undissolved sugar. You can see that it's like a nice light boil and the sugar has dissolved. What I'm going to do now is add my peanuts. And this is really hot, so you want to be careful. I'm going to stir them into the mixture. And this is what it looks like after I've stirred them into the mixture. When you add the peanuts, you're probably going to lose the boil for a couple of seconds afterwards until the peanuts start to heat up. And that's because the peanuts are at room temperature and it's just going to cool your solution a little bit. Alright, so it's only been a couple of seconds and it's already starting to heat up very nicely. What I'm going to do now is add my thermometer into the side of the pot, clipping it on the side of the pot so that it doesn't fall in. And I'm just going to start heating that up until I get to a little over 300 degrees. So while I'm standing here, I want to make sure to keep watching this and keep constantly stirring, because if the peanuts sit at the bottom of the pot, what's going to happen is they're going to burn and you're going to end up developing some not so good flavors in your peanut brittle. So this is what it looks like right now. I'm about 225 degrees now. It's just lightly boiling. Now, like I said, I've already got the other ingredients that I'm going to need for the end of the recipe, which are the butter and the baking soda, and I've got my buttered pan that I'm going to pour this mixture on to cool. And it's really important to have those things already ready, because once you get your solution to a little over 300 degrees Fahrenheit, it's going to go very quickly, and you're going to want to make sure to add those last ingredients, stir it up, and then put it on your cookie sheet. Once you add the last ingredients into the pot, mix it up and put it onto your cookie sheet, the pot and the utensils that you're using to stir are going to become really hard to clean. So I found the best way to do that is just to soak your pot and your stirring utensils in some warm water with some soap, and then just let the sugar dissolve in those warm ingredients, and it's much easier to clean your pot and your stirring utensils afterwards. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting with this really hard, crusty sugar, and it just doesn't come off very easily. We are almost to 300 now. I'm going to take it a little bit beyond that. Alright, I'm going to turn my stove off and show you as quickly as I can so that I don't burn this. This is kind of what it looks like. It's a very nice, developed, sugary color. You can see that it looks just like caramel. So what I'm going to do is take out my thermometer, set that to the side. I'm going to add my butter and my baking soda, and I'm going to stir that up. Be careful, because I haven't softened my butter, and it will have a tendency to maybe spatter a little bit, because this mixture is so hot, and it's going to start to look funny, like it's separated or something. It changes the color slightly from that really rich caramely color to a little bit more creamy color. You just want to mix that up really well. And once you've got that all mixed up, then what you're going to do is take this and place it onto your cookie sheet. And then you want to flatten it out on your cookie sheets. And it's going to look weird, like it's going to separate, and it's like fluffy and kind of strange looking. It's also going to make your cookie sheet really hot, because this mixture is so hot. You just want to be really careful not to burn yourself. So this is what it looks like after I've just placed it on the sheet. It's still really, really hot right now. I made this the other day for other people. I took a little plastic baggie. I broke the pieces into manageable sized pieces. I tied them up in a little baggie with a bow to make them really just nice and cute. So I hope you guys enjoyed this really simple, tasty, sweet snack, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later.